What is going on, 5'9 gamers? My name is Joe Wags, and today I will be your host for your favorite podcast, the Dokkan Battle Podcast. Our podcast is presented to you by 5'9 Gaming. 5'9 Gaming is your source for all things gaming, anime, and entertainment related. Be sure to like and subscribe to stay up to date on all things 5'9. Today's episode is 101, SUPA Hero Da, which is, what the Gammas say. It's very, very cool, very Japanesey, right? But it's all about the Gammas. Dragon Ball Superhero is here. We're very, very excited for it, but I can't do it myself. I have two fantastic guests with me today. First up, we have the man of many gotchas, Gal Riot. How you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic, mate. The weekend started. I'm chilling. Good to go, bro. Good to go.
Awesome. And then next up, we've got all the girlies say he's pretty fly or Vilify. Vilify, how you doing today?
I'm doing all right, but I can't help but notice you've already used that one, so we're going to need some variety here.
You know what? I don't know. You got to give me some material then. Got to give me some material,
Well, if you watch the top 5 super attack animations list, you could say perhaps I'm AGL UI's #1 fan.
Okay. All right. AGL UI's #1 fan, Vilify. All right. There we go. Unfortunately, Minato can't be here. He was too busy stealing my tweets, and he got arrested for stealing my tweets. So he's not going to make it. He's in punishment. He's in tweet stealing punishment. You have to keep up with our Twitters to know what's going on there, but all good fun. So let's hop into it. So we're going to start with the Gammas. They're going to be the kind of the big talk. Now, Vilify's the JP player. Gail and I are representing Global over here. JP's had the Gammas for a little bit longer, but, I've had a few days to play around with them. I've done some crazy summons. I'm sure Gail's done some summons. So first off, let's start with Gail. Just tell me how your summons went, if you summoned for these bad boys.
I did do a couple of multis because I am skipping Vegeta and Trunks, but I am also primarily saving for the Heroes banners because I am a huge fan of the Super Saiyan 4 transformation. As a result, I did only like 2 or 3 multis on Gamma 1 and 2, and I ended up getting 2 Fizz Brolys, so I will take my L and leave, to be quite honest. I'll take my L and just move on with life, to be quite honest. No, it didn't go so well. I mean, I got coins at least out of it, but I don't know what to use those coins on, to be honest, right now.
Yeah, you just got to wait for something good to get in the shop there. Vilify, do you remember back to your JP summons, or did you summon for them at all? How'd that go?
Oh, yeah. You see, I have to be a responsible Dokkaner at the moment. So I had about, I don't know, I've done probably 500 stones worth.
Okay.
0 featured.
Okay. All right.
So Gail, I would take your Brolys and smile, all right?
Smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave.
Exactly.
Yeah, well,
I did get a copy of the STR Piccolo that came out.
Nice.
Banner, though. So
yeah.
That's a dub, I would
that's
say.
about what I have to show for it, but I already had it. So he's 69%.
I mean, I'd argue to say that's better than the Broly summons, to be quite honest.
I was gonna say it's better than several of the Dokkan Fests on that banner. So, you lucked out. Sometimes you get those banner units. So I'm gonna apologize right away because my summons were quite lucky. I don't know if you guys heard about my summons. That is new. That is new because I've been getting very poor luck lately. So in total, I did 850 stones. I got 2 Gamma 1s and I rainbowed Gamma 2. Quite insane for 850 stones. And actually, if I would have stopped earlier at 400 stones, I had 2 Gamma 1s and 4 Gamma 2s. So it actually took me 450 to get that last copy of Gamma 2. I could have stopped at 400 and been really walking on sunshine, but I'll take 850 for the rainbow. I had to chase it when I was that close. Absolutely insane summons. And something that's completely unheard of is I got 2 Zenos and 2 Whis animations in my videos. And I think Whis animations and Zenos are going to be more common because you have double the chance to get those animations, and we've never had that since those new animations came out. So I kind of wanted to point that out, but it was crazy. And I think one of my summons was literally like Zeno followed by a Whis animation. And one of my Whis animations was Beerus and Whis flying in, so I knew I got it. But another one was just a stray Beerus on his own, nothing special, and it turned into Whis. It was crazy. So quite insane. Quite insane summons. Now, I'll take it.
If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure the double Zeno stuff has been a thing for a while now, because you think back to like top legendary summons and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Had like 2 big featured LRs. So we've seen units where because I remember vividly getting a Zeno during the 6-year anniversary for part 2.
Yeah.
And it was Golden Frieza in 17, because I'm praying like, just please don't be Golden Frieza. Please
don't
be Golden Frieza. Please
I
don't be
think
Golden
the
Frieza.
chances are higher though because of less featured.
There's less featured though.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
true. When we're talking about 2 brand new Dokkan Fests being on the same banner at the same time, it hasn't been since the Trunks Zamasu banner way back in the day, and that was way before these animations. So I think it's the first time since modern animations we've had 2.
Are we talking about just on a Dokkan Fest banner?
Dokkan Fest, brand new Dokkan Fest.
Okay.
units where, because Zeno and Whis can only trigger a brand new Dokkan Fest unit. That's the only thing. And it's the first time we've had that since those animations came out. So I think people are going to be seeing a lot more Zenos and that. And actually, I didn't get any Goku Black Rift, so but I'll take the 2 Whis animations. That was super hype. So now that we've talked about summons, let's talk about what you think of the Gammas. Are they the best TURs in the game? Where would you rank them? So Vilify, I'm going to go to you first as a JP player because I know Kid Goku comes into the mix there for you guys. So where would you rank the Gammas in terms of top TURs?
If I had to do a top 3 list off the top of my head right now, I'd probably put Gamma 1 at 1, I'd put Kid Goku at 2, and then Gamma 2 at 3. I just really like how Gamma 1 is just so defensively built and how, you know, his kit kind of works with the guard and he gets hit. So the most experience I've had using them, though, is in the Cell Max event. And I don't know how much time you guys have had to play around with that. But it's almost like with the Gammas, you don't want to super because you want to build them up and they just do so much damage, right?
Yeah.
So it's like... I like Kid Goku a little bit more than I like Gamma 2 just because of the damage reduction support that he gets, which isn't too hard to get. Like, you think 7 orbs, like, that's really scary, but Kid Goku's also a rainbow orb changer. So him being able to give some of these units to have a lot of damage reduction, even more damage reduction. You think about Android 8, who can literally take, at 55%, can take a Cell Max Super for, like, 90k. When, you know, you see a lot of other units, especially in that AGL phase, taking 2 to 3 million damage. So I'd say I like Gamma 1 the most out of all those 3. But Gamma 2, I mean, obviously both these guys are solid.
For sure. Gail, where would you rank these guys?
I mean, for global, I mean, they're an easy 1 and 2 right now, right? I mean, there's no doubt about that. I don't think we need to even make an argument for it. It's insane how strong, but all 3 of these characters are, including Kid Goku. The only real issue I have with Gamma 2, and I think that's where we're going to start seeing gaps once they start adding more and more TURs come in, right? Is his kit is very much similar, I would say personally, to me, as he's like a mini cooler sort of kind of unit, right? He's a very mini sort of LR cooler. And one of the biggest issues I have with cooler is, well, for me personally, some of it comes down to a little bit of RNG, right? That you could get hit a little bit hard, especially if a super comes out of nowhere on slot 2. If you have him in there, it can lead to disaster potentially. But also in the long run, I feel like these sorts of units can become susceptible to inevitable power creep, which we've seen clearly is happening to units right now as well, right? You know, with people talking ill about so many units like Pan, Majin Vegeta, and stuff like that. If you go over on Twitter, it's ridiculous what's happening over there. To be quite frank, it's crazy to see how many people are getting crazy over power creep, but it's inevitable. In a gacha game, that's going to happen. So for me, I think that's my only concern with Gamma 2, but Gamma 1's design is flawless in my personal opinion. They designed him extremely well. So I love Gamma 1 more so than Gamma 2 right now, but I do believe there will be a lot of units that will slot in between them, like, for example, Kid Goku.
For sure. Yeah, as a global player, I agree that the Gammas are definitely top tier for me, top 2 units in the game. Something that might get overlooked with them just because of all their other power that I love about these units is that they are also support units. And I love when a leader is also support because, you know, down the line, as these units start to age with power creep and there's going to be things that are better on rotation units, you then could float them and they would still be very powerful floating support units on teams, which is very, very good. So I think they're going to have longevity that way. I really, really like them. And the fact that, you know, Gamma 2, you know, I've been using my rainbowed one quite a bit, obviously, because I think he's ridiculous. But he's dishing out fully built up, you know, 3, 10, 11 mil attack stats a turn. Absolutely insane. If he crits Cell Max, he can darn near 1 turn that final phase. I mean, it's all about getting the crits, though. He has type disadvantage, which makes that quite difficult for him if he's not hitting it. But yeah, these Gammas are crazy. Very happy that I got them. I think they're really good units. Now, the one thing too that gets me really excited is obviously we know it's not going to be long till we're seeing Beast Gohan, Orange Piccolo, right? And in terms of the movie, you know, the Gammas by far are not the lead characters. So if these more they're kind of like side main characters, but if they're this good, how good are Piccolo and Gohan going to be? They got to be busted beyond all belief. So I'm very, very excited to see what they're going to look like, right? So do you guys have just anything else you want to say about the Gammas? Any personal experiences with them that you want to talk about when using them?
I think
I can circle back. Oh,
go
sorry, go ahead.
no, you can go ahead first. I want to make a point about
Yeah,
something else, not necessarily
yeah,
them
I
in
kind of do.
particular, but yeah.
Yeah, I just want to circle back to what Joe was talking about with the longevity of units, especially with support.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can all kind of think of one common example of a unit that has support and kind of aged very well. Maybe not in terms of his own power, but just like the units he supported. And we think about AGL Turles, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Being on the final trump card team, he saw usage probably until about 2020, I'd say, and he'd been out for like 2 years at that point. So he had, you could use that unit with all the support that he's giving, and then with his EZA, obviously, he got even better. So it was like units that have that support, they can really age well, regardless of how good they are. And this Gamma 1 and Gamma 2, I can't imagine they'll be power crept very hard for a good bit.
I mean, if you see people are still running units like freaking Fizz Kid Boo, bro, for
Physical Kid
showcasing.
Boo, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
of course they are using it to showcase the power and stuff, but people can have fun however they want. I mean, that's how it
Right.
goes, to be honest. So I think it's fair for these support units to keep coming in, and we do need to have more and more support units coming out. I feel like it's a very important thing. But I wanted to make a point as well, and this is more so in relation with also Kid Goku. I'm loving the fact that they're doing these triple leader skills, with
Mhm.
double 30%. I'm you guys might have already talked about it in the previous podcast or something, but I just wanted to point out as well because I've not been part of it. I think it's fantastic. It allows for so many more units to start coming out. I think Pan is a unit that could have probably used something like this, right? And a couple of other units as well, or units and teams as well, could have used this way back when. But I'm glad that they're finally doing it from now on, and I cannot wait to see some more interesting units that will actually be able to be used on various teams because of their leader skill. So definitely down for it.
Yeah, and the other thing that this banner shows is that they're not afraid to give the multiple leader skills to one and not the other. So we saw
Mhm.
one of the gammas had like the triple setup and the other one had the double setup, which means in the future, when there's a dual Dokkan Fest, they're going to base it on the categories. If the categories are weak, like let's say Beast
Mhm.
Gohan only gets 2, but then maybe there's a Cell Max that gets 3, on the
Yeah.
other side of a dual Dokkan Fest. We know that that's now a possibility, which is really, really awesome to see. So I very much am enjoying those leader skill setups as well. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll move forward here. But next up on JP, we've got a brand new Bardock. So we want to know, he's not actually out yet, but I think videos are out on him. We know what he does. We know what the banner unit is. So based on what we're seeing, kind of what are our initial thoughts on this Bardock? And is he meeting or matching the current meta? Is he a little behind? Is he busted? So Vilify, I'll jump to you first. What are you thinking of this tech Bardock?
So let's put this into scale, right?
Mhm.
He could be considered busted if he was 6 months younger, right?
Yeah.
If he had come out a little bit earlier, but we've seen the Gammas, we've seen Kid Goku, we've seen the 7-year LRs, we've seen the Worldwide Download Celebration units, and this guy is just not up to snuff with kind of the units that we have at this point. His animations, I would say, are a little bit on the underwhelming side, but his intro is very cool. I'm a big fan of that, but overall, I'd say even when he comes to global, I'd say this guy is just kind of like a look the other way and just pull him when he comes back later, I'd say. Not a huge fan of what this guy does, honestly. His scouter restriction, he gets a scouter for 5 turns, but he is not like Gogeta or Vegito, the LRs, where it's unconditional. It has to be when he is on rotation, so it can be a little bit tricky.
Sure. Gail, do you have initial thoughts on this Bardock?
I have to, agree with Vilify on a lot of what he said. He also has a bit of a contradictory kit, it feels like, in the sense of, for example, look at the last part of his kit. If you have it up on screen, or if you guys know what he does, pretty much, he gets effects on Rainbow Key Sphere, right? So if he gets 1 Rainbow Key Sphere, he gets attacks effective against all types. But then for some reason, with 3 Rainbow Key Spheres, he gets crits, and it's like, but there's not much of a big difference between those two. You could have easily done something better for him that would have made him even stronger by, say, giving him an additional attack that has a great chance to become a super attack or something like that. I think even something like that would have been fine. But then you look at the rest of his kit as well. It's very basic and bland, right? There's not much going for him that makes him seem like, okay, he's an amazing unit kind of thing. He just seems very eh. And in all honesty, I wouldn't be surprised if people start rating him lower than units like, say, Ginyu or Pan. In all honesty, just because of what they can offer to a team versus what Bardock can offer. I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of him either, and I think they kind of played a misstep here. I don't know if he was planned for, maybe like ages back or something like that. I don't know. It's just a weird release for sure.
We have to look at his active skill condition as well. It says, so I'm just going to read this verbatim, right?
Yeah.
Able to be used once three or more turns have elapsed from the start of the battle, and there are 3 or more allies belonging to the Team Bardock category on the team, or once 5 or more turns have elapsed from the start of battle, and HP is 50% or less. So turn 5 already not so great, but you can get, it's like coolers, right? Where if you're fighting a Pure Saiyan, you get it early. But what team can you possibly run a difficult content where you have 3 or more allies belonging to Team Bardock, right? Like you have like the free-to-play Bardock, potential EZA, you've got the banner unit, and then what?
Pasha.
But the thing is as well,
right.
I could be corrected on this. But it could count the friend Bardock as well, assuming you're running him on the same team. Of course, if you run him on other teams, like say maybe like Connected Hope or Entrusted Will or something like that, and you're running a different leader, I can see where that can become a little bit of an issue. But if you're running him on his own team, I mean, you just need a friend, himself, and one extra unit, the Tora or Fasha, pretty much. I think both would work.
Right.
So in that regards, it's okay. I think the first part of his active skill is fine. I think his active skill is actually probably the best out of the rest of the kit, to be quite honest. There's nothing else in the rest of the kit, because the active skill at least is easy to obtain. I mean, what it does is kind of because again, if you get 3 or more key spheres, again, that contradiction comes into play again. He performs a critical hit with 3 or more rainbow key spheres, and then his active skills make every attack a critical hit. But it's just like, why though? He already does it in his passive. What's wrong with the? They could have done something else with the active skill. Maybe
raise defense for allies.
Exactly, something like that, or guard for 2 turns, or something like that. I don't know. Make it unique, make it different, make it interesting. But instead, his kit is just a big contradiction where they're doing 2 things at once, and it's just a mess, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's some redundancy there. I think anytime you see a unit that is super effective against all type and gets crits, I basically see that as a wasted effect slot that could have been used on something like damage reduction, or like you said, Gale getting an additional, would have been a lot better there. The other thing to remember when talking about the active skill, I agree with Gale. The active skill won't be an issue because that banner unit Fasha is very, very good. And then also don't forget the LR Bardock, Int Bardock should be getting an EZA. So that Bardock squad has a ridiculous 60% support. It's going to make them look really good. Hoping that, they get the Ginyu Force LR EZA treatment, and then they would be like kind of a slot in on that team automatically, and then you've got what you need, right? Yep. I think part of the reason people are pretty underwhelmed with this Bardock is because they were expecting the Ginyu treatment, and he gets compared directly to Ginyu. And I would say on paper, now I need to use Bardock to actually judge him more properly. But I would say on paper, I think I do like Ginyu better, and Ginyu is quite a bit older than Bardock. But I think people were expecting Bardock to be a little bit more defensive and get 2 banner units, not just the 1. I still think he's kind of on equal footing there with Ginyu, because his banner unit, that Tora, is very good. And then you could consider the other Fasha to be like, I see Fasha kind of filling the Raccoon Galdo slot, very defensive, could possibly slot into slot 1. But it would have been nice. I really thought they were going to do like the Fasha Borgos, Tora, whatever, like the 2 pairs of combos, just like they did with Ginyu, that would have slotted in so well. And I would say, don't underestimate STR free-to-play Bardock. I think he's actually going to look pretty good here. It's just clunky because then you got 3 Bardocks on the team. And then you also have LR EZA Bardock, but same thing, clunky, and he's supposed to be an on-rotation damage-dealing unit. So, the Bardock team does have pieces there, but it doesn't seem to flow and gel yet. Still seems a little incomplete. I'm liking the Ginyu squad infinitely better. Not to mention the Ginyu team has 2 really good free-to-play EZA LRs, which we're still waiting for that Tech 1 on Global. Does anybody know offhand when that Tech 1 EZA on JP? I'm trying to wonder what celebration we're going to...
ROFs.
Oh gosh, and they're getting like delayed to oblivion. So who knows when we'll get that?
We're probably not getting ROF till Jan, I would say, and even then, because this is a little bit off topic. Global will be getting Vegeta Trunks next, Heroes in end November, Christmas in December. We don't know what's going to happen. Potentially, we could get Beast Gohan and Orange.
I think that's what people are thinking. But you don't know.
ROFs ain't coming till Jan at the very least. And even Merge Zamasu and Golden Frieza, they're also going to be delayed to all hell and back. So the schedule, this is one of the reasons why I always hate them mucking about the schedule and changing everything. But of course, in certain situations, like when the movie releases and stuff like that, they kind of have to. So it is what it is.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I'm hoping that maybe they bring I don't know. I kind of hope they bring that Ginyu LR maybe with the Vegeta and Trunks earlier, just shove it in somewhere. But
Yeah.
I ever since we got the Ginyu squad, I'm like, give me that LR because right now the Ginyu team is just like 1 unit short, right? And I just want that one in there, right? So
Yeah.
all right, so we've kind of gone through Bardock. Next up, we're gonna jump into the free to play units. So for the free to play units, we have a Halloween Dabura. We have a Super Strike Pycon EZA, and then we've got Android 8 and 17. So I'll just give you guys a chance to kind of talk overall about the units if you want to talk about all three, or if you want to talk about any that you've used more. So, Gail, we'll start with you. Just what are your thoughts on these free to play units that just came out?
I actually kind of impressed to an extent. I think it's kind of cool what they've done with these two units, both Devura and 17 and Hachan. I'm kind of ignoring Pycon because I feel like he's decent, but you're gonna probably use the DFE one more so than anything else. You're gonna use the Dokkan first one, so I'm just gonna ignore him for now. And I haven't worked on him yet. I'll be very honest. I still have to get the stones from it. But I kind of like the 18 and Hachan, especially. They have a good condition, guards all attacks for 8 turns. Obviously, it's a little bit conditional in the sense it's 8 turns only, but I mean, with events asking you to only finish it off in 8 turns, I mean, they expect you to do it in 8 turns. So I guess that kind of helps in that regards. They have damage reduction as well under a certain amount of HP, which you're gonna be under more or less. So decent in that regards. Dabura, a little less so, but I still think he can be decent in some situations. More so in Super Battle Road and stuff. But of course, I mean, this is more so for players who are just going to be, needing units to use in Super Battle Road, and they can easily pick up this unit because he's going to do extremely well with his lowering attack, and then, of course, getting all this defense and attack as well when it comes down to having the opponent in attack down or defense down status. So in that regards, they're pretty decent. I actually think these are some decent free-to-play units. Not so much for Red Zone and stuff, but just general mid to high-level content, they're decent.
For sure, for sure. Vilify, what are you thinking about these new free-to-plays? Have you used them yet, or just what are you thinking on paper?
Well, we got to talk about PyCon. I don't know why Gale didn't mention this, but the name of PyCon is Blazing Gale PyCon. How can we not talk about that? I mean, bro, that's your unit. You have to.
I have to just change my profile picture, everything. You on Twitter, this YouTube,
Blazing
Twitch.
Gale, exactly.
Yeah, Gale, I want to see him as your friend unit ASAP. I got to be using your friend PyCon. Let's go.
God damn it.
So, one thing I can appreciate the commitment to the Halloween factor on these units, just for the fact that they recover HP with candy. Now, before the show, I had to ask, I'm like, recovers HP with candy, what does that mean? And it's like literally the most niche thing ever, right? It's like when you're fighting a Majin Buu that changes orbs to candy spheres, it's like most of the time it's 0 key, but with these bad boys, you get 5,000 HP.
That's a lot. That's a lot in this era of 700,000
It's a game changer,
HP, brother.
It's a game changer.
The meta of the 700 to 800,000 HP, that's that 5,000.
Dude, I'm still trying to awaken my STR Boo. I can't pass it.
So if I want to play devil's advocate here for my no item run for the Cell Max missions, I left the last turn right before I won with like 4.7 thousand HP. So
you want to know how much?
If there had been candy there,
bro,
you would have been set.
No, I'm telling you. You want to know the percentage? If you have a 700,000 HP, you're only recovering 0.714% of your HP with one candy.
That could be the difference on the Cell Max Super.
It can be, bro. 1.7%, baby. That's all that matters.
I just told you. I had 104,000 HP in the LR Blues. They took 100k from a normal and dodged the other ones. So that's that 5,000 HP makes a difference. But I do like how this. I think if my favorite of the three is the EZA for Android 17 and Hachan. Gale called them Android 18 and Hachan, but we'll get that.
Did.
You did. But I do like this damage reduction when HP is 80% or less. I feel is not that hard to get to. In addition to the guard that they have for 8 turns from the start of the turn, right?
Yeah.
So 8 turns, like that's a pretty decent amount, right? Like we talk about these events that they want you to clear them in 8 turns. We have this from these guys. Like by the time you're done, you'll still have their guard anyway.
Yeah.
So I think my favorite thing about the Dabura in specific is his SSR art. I'm a big fan of that.
It's the googly eyes. Yeah.
But
I'm glad we got
again,
that
Gale. Yeah. So when bosses are like this, where a lot of the hard bosses in the game at this point, you can lower their defense, but you can't lower their attack. These guys could kind of slot in nicely, especially in the Super Battle Road area, because on their unit SA, which you need, there has to be a PyCon in there. So you'd have to, I guess that's really just another World Warriors type of thing.
Yeah.
Maybe Buu Saga. But, you raise attack and defense and also lower the enemy attack. That's like the ideal Super Battle Road super attack effect, right? lower their attack, you raise your defense, and then if you get like 2 or 3 supers in, before you know it, their attack is super lower. So I think for free to play units, this is about par for the course. We talk about the Candy Vegito, we talk about Gotenks and Ghost, all decent free to play easy A's, and then we have other stuff like this. So Halloween usually provides us with some free to play gems, I'd say.
Yeah, I would say they're okay. Like, I don't see myself using them in most cases, but I would say for, newer players without a large box, like, there's definitely some use. The big thing I get out of the Angel Dabura is that he is a support unit, a generic superclass support unit. So there's always some value in having a decent support unit. The thing I don't like about, like, PyCon just seems super generic. With free-to-play units, I like them to be either defensive or supporting, but when you try to just make them, like, generic hard hitters, it typically doesn't work very well. And part of what makes PyCon good is he does a pretty nice attack down, but that's going to be more of a super battle road skill, right? And then, so I could see some use on super battle road. With Dabura, I'm never a big fan of units that get stats when enemies are debuffed, just because so many enemies in the game negate debuffs. So, but there are some harder enemies where you can attack down or defense down, which is nice. But I could see myself, once again, it's going to be more situational. If I need to do an Otherworld Warriors quest, I think both of these guys might slot in nicely because Otherworld Warriors is a fairly weak team. So I think there's some use there. I do agree the best of the batch has got to be 17 and Android 8, or let's just call them Android 25, right? Android 25 here. Pretty solid. But anytime you got the defense, I think there's some value there defensively here for our boy Android 25. So I haven't had a lot of time to use them, though. My opinions might change as I use them more. It's been kind of a busy week for me, but I'm excited to try them out. I'm working on getting them upgraded right now. But on paper, kind of like you guys said, they're okay. Might be some use for them. They're probably par for the course. In terms of modern free-to-play, it's not like the LR Master Roshi days where it's like, oh my God, this free-to-play unit's crazy. I wish they did that a little bit more. And maybe there's more coming. But yeah, they're all right, I would say. So
you say that really well with Android. With Master Roshi, they just they were so over ambitious with how good they made him because they can't match that anymore. They're like, oh, we made him too good. People are still using him in 2021.
Yeah. I mean, even at the time, I loved the physical UI Goku as a stacking defense unit, and supporting.
40% support.
Yeah, he was solid, man.
I mean, that 6th year anniversary free-to-play set is still, I would say, kind of unmatched. I mean, version Z Goku came along, right? But
he's good. Yeah.
Outside of that, do we have any other free-to-play unit that we can write home about? Kind of, not really, I would say.
I would say the free-to-play Ginyu EZAs are very, very good.
I mean, I would say, but they kind of needed it. That was what they were trying to do, right? With the Ginyu Force, was just make them an indomitable team, I suppose, right?
So I thought of something. Here's something that 2 units have in common: Tech Gohan and free-to-play Master Roshi. They both messed it up for everybody else, right?
Yeah.
So free-to-play units don't get good buffs anymore, and units don't get unconditional guard anymore.
Yeah, I would say the free-to-play units during the worldwide with the metal coolers and like the tech cooler, like they were somewhat impactful. Like they're good, but they're not Master Roshi level as a must slot in unit on his teams with like the new busted mechanic that the game just came out with, which was Revive. Just crazy. But yeah, so I would say these guys are par for the course, right? Fairly decent little free-to-play units. So next up, we're going to jump into some Dragon Ball Heroes talk because that's a big celebration coming up very soon on both versions of the game. And we did get some announcements and some teasers for that. So what we know is coming is we are getting a Hearts with active skill, and everyone's excited for that Dio voice actor to be on that active skill voice animation. I don't know the name of the unit, if you guys know, but a free-to-play waifu chick that's on, she was listed there.
Lags, I think.
Lags or Rags, I think it depends, because Japan does the L's and the R switch, so it's Lags or Rags, something like that. And then we got the Limit Breaker Super Saiyan 4s, which when they were announced, I'm thinking, all right, they're going to be on full power, which means that Tech Super Saiyan 4 full power Goku's going to get a Scouter. I tweeted about it, and then Minato copied my tweet, and that's why Minato's he's sitting in the corner with the dunce cap on this week. He's not allowed to be here. He stole my tweet. And then Super Saiyan 4 Bardock and Super Saiyan 4 Gohan are getting awakenings. And then the big shocker is last year's units, Robel and Supreme Kai Time Brainwashed are getting awakenings. And that is very interesting to me because I really like those units. And it shows me that now they're willing to go out of order. So what I want to know from you guys, let me know, what do you think about these announced units? Are you hyped for it? And what do you want to see coming in terms of like EZAs and whatnot for the celebration? So Vilify, I'll start with you. What are your thoughts on this hero celebration coming up?
Allow me to be a voice of reason here a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Go for it.
One thing with the heroes units that kind of rubs me the wrong way is that their animations aren't exactly always killer, if that makes sense.
Yep. No, you're right.
And they tend to, from what I feel like, they tend to age off in like a week. It's like they're really fun when you pull them, and then it's like, when have you realistically, other than, I know Mass Ningen is a little bit different with his hero stuff, but when was the last time you used God Trunks? Like, because it's like, ooh, God Trunks is like a fill-in. It wasn't just an excuse to use God Trunks, right?
Mm-hmm. No,
And I feel
agree.
like that could be the one thing that this year has going is the fact that these Super Saiyan 4s are on a very good team with the Giant 8 power beyond Super Saiyan. You know, there is a little bit more room for them to be super good, but I just feel like the way they've done heroes, it can be a little bit scary. But overall, super excited for the fact that we could potentially be seeing, who knows, even maybe a fusion between the two. No one really knows because we don't have the specifics yet. We just have like pictures of the characters, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Right. My gut feeling, because they typically don't reveal like the main headline character, my gut feeling it's going to be Super Saiyan 4 Limit Breaker Gogeta, because I believe it was revealed that the artwork of these units are from on the actual Dragon Ball superhero cards from the card game. The card that their artwork was on, those cards fuse into a Gogeta. So that's kind of my guess, but I'm not sure. Gail, what are your thoughts on this hero stuff?
I'm down for it. I like I said earlier on, I'm a big Super Saiyan 4 fan. So for me, saving up for this is the big thing now, pretty much, right? Gamma 1 and 2 can be shoved to the side. They'll come back. And I'm expecting Gamma 1 and 2 to come back on Beast Gohan and Orange Piccolo's banner. So realistically, people shouldn't be too worried about them, in all honesty. But I am very, very excited about it. But I will agree with Vilify. Like, for example, SSJ for Bardock, I ain't gonna lie. I am a little bit concerned about him in particular because his kit is reliant on having crossover characters, right? If I'm not mistaken, currently. Whereas Gohan is a little bit less risky because his damage reduction is actually based on Giant Ape power, which you can, use any Super Saiyan 4 from the main series or heroes to be able to activate that, right? So that's an advantage as well. But I also agree with generally what he said about like older units not really getting the time to shine. But there have been units. I mean, people are still using, for example, maybe not now, but like at a point, people were using like Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks. His EZ was fantastic. So there have been good releases that have been used from there on. I mean, I remember using Super Saiyan 4 Vegito for like a long time as well. Especially after the release of I think he came out right after Int SJ for Gogeta as well, right? So you could use that team for a very long time. But there is obviously that factor of like, they can, some of them can be very, very notorious and in the sense that they will age out rapidly compared to other units. But there are some shining gems in there, I feel like. And in terms of EZAs, I'm very excited because we should be getting EZAs for some amazing supports like Supreme Kai of Time, right? Which will be amazing, right? Adult Supreme Kai of Time, that is, of course, I should say.
Yep.
Not the evil one that we got last year. But I'm excited for it. I'm very much looking forward to it. I'm always looking forward to heroes. It's something different. It's something unique. It's something I wish we got more often, but I understand, licensing and, contracts and whatever it may be, all the businessy side of things that can come into play. But I wish heroes was more common. At least twice a year would be fantastic for personally, because you get just so much more opportunities as well. You could probably introduce LRs and stuff, which I guess I should probably mention that we might get an LR this year. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you guys think we'll get an LR this year or no?
I think it's possible. I think it's anything's possible because Dokkan has done crazy things that we're not expecting. So I definitely think it's possible. I would say I'm not expecting it, but I would say it's possible. And as you guys were talking about earlier, with them not having maybe a type of animations and maybe falling off quicker, I think part of that is because they're technically not Dokkan Fest, so they don't treat them like Dokkan Fest.
Right.
They're kind of like really good banner units. It's kind of what they all are. And I guess the benefit of that is it's like one of the few banners in the game cycles where you get guaranteed featured on every multi, which is absolutely insane. And for veteran players, I think there's a lot of value because you get so many uniquely named characters that can help fit on teams and link with other characters, which I really, really like as well. In terms of units that have a lot of longevity, I've used Intoa like forever and ever and ever as a support unit. Now, obviously, she's fallen off. And then Tech Supreme Kai of Time, as you mentioned, who's up for an EZA, she could be quite impactful. I think the most impactful EZA we're going to get out of here is STR Super Saiyan 3 Zeno Goku, because he's got guard and damage reduction, which that combo is just lethal. So if they do him justice and they give him some defense, I mean, they're probably not going to make him stack defense because then we got another Tech Ultimate Gohan on our hands, but he has the potential to be a very influential unit. And I don't believe his kit relies on Dragon Ball Heroes in any way. I think you can put him on.
It does. Damage reduction is per Dragon Ball.
Is
Heroes
it per?
category,
Is it okay?
Yeah.
So depending on how much damage reduction you want, but I think he could be quite impactful on a lot of teams, right? So very, very good. And it'll be interesting to see what they do with the Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, but he's kind of like a generic hard hitter type of unit. But there's a lot. And here's the thing, because they did the Supreme Time Brainwash and the Rebel early, it makes me think maybe they could do EZAs early. What if they EZA'd Super Saiyan 4 Broly and Vegito early because they want them to go with the limit breakers, right? Like, I think there's definitely some possibilities there. The other thing that I think they need to break the seal on, I do not believe any free-to-play Dragon Ball Heroes unit has EZA. So I think we need to get some free-to-play EZAs. I think there's a free-to-play Cumber, there's that Salsa guy. There's some free-to-play units in there that could be kind of fun. So I want to see some free-to-play EZAs this year. I think that's something else I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, I think that would be really cool. I think for example, Great Saiyaman 4, the free-to-play one. I think he's pretty cool. I remember using him for like legendary Goku runs basically as well at a point because he stacked defense and attack, right? So he's a very good option as well. I agree. I think that would be something cool as well.
Yeah, and I think like Sealess and Fu could be interesting extreme units to get awakenings, or not awakenings, but EZAs. So yeah, there's some potential because Sealess, I think I used him once. One is I forget that Sealess actually transforms, and two, I forgot Sealess is actually a support unit, which is kind of interesting. So Sealess could be an interesting guy to get an EZA. So I'm excited for it either way, and I'm like Ninja, and I'm just hyped for it because I'm someone who has a really large box with a ton of characters rainbowed, and I love just getting fresh new characters, which I think is why the Dragon Ball superhero stuff with the Gammas is so exciting, because it's like new, fresh characters, right? And that's what's so exciting. And we know the anime's coming back, and we're going to get a lot of new, fresh characters there. So it's just exciting. But we'll see what my stones are looking like after Trunks and Vegeta, because I got to get me that Trunks and Vegeta, right? Anything else?
I'm really happy.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I'm really happy both of you guys are very excited for Heroes.
Oh,
I'm not like I'm not a jump up and down for Heroes kind of guy, but I can understand how excited.
I go deep on Heroes, and I love getting like, it's a banner where I could, because I'm not like a mega whale like Truth, right? Like people call me whales because I rainbowed Gamma too, but I did it in a very limited amount of stones. So Heroes though is a banner where I legitimately go in and aim to rainbow the units, because with guaranteed featured you can do it very quickly. So last year I think I rainbowed pretty much the whole banner. It was awesome. So I'm going to try to do that again this year. So, moving on, we've got some new Cell Max missions. So for those people that are unaware, they actually added a boost to Cell Max, which is Special Pose. So Special Pose units do a ridiculous amount of damage, which we kind of talked about earlier with the Gamma 1 and 2s. They almost do too much damage. You have like no time to build up, and you're on that final phase of Cell Max. So I want to know what your guys' experiences are with these missions. One mission is beat it with 6 artificial life form, and the other one is beat it with 6 special pose, and then I think it's beat it within 8 turns or something like. Or no, beat it with no items, I think, and then there might have been an 8-turn one also. So Vilify, what's your experience with these Cell Max missions?
I'm gonna need some jail time for whoever decided a no item run mission was a good idea. But, I think really this as someone who has not pulled the Gammas, I just cannot do the special pose one or the artificial life form one. But I know Minato did videos on both, and go figure, the artificial life form one involved AGL Cell, who I also don't have. So it's like, really I'm just between a rock and a hard place. But for the no item run, I specifically did the Kid Goku based team.
Sure.
And he got the job done for me. I think it was a Movie Heroes lead with Gamma 2.
Sure.
And then Kid Goku support with, like I said, if you run Kid Goku with Android 8, who are both movie heroes, because it's Path to Power, you just find yourself doing just Cell Max just can't hurt you. Like, obviously, if Kid Goku takes a super from Cell Max, it's going to be difficult. But if you just want to cliff notes this, it's either you pull the Gammas or you're going to have a hard time.
Right. I will say for artificial life forms, a hidden MVP is Super Strike 16. Super Strike 16 gets damage reduction when guards. He doesn't guarantee guard, but against the final phase he does, because he's got type advantage. So Super Strike 16, low key, very good there. Gail, have you tried out these missions yet?
I've been suffering. I do not want to talk about it. Nah, it's
Yeah.
obviously I didn't get Gamma 1 and 2 like I
I was
said
gonna
earlier.
say,
So,
Gail,
yeah.
I gotta cut you off. I gotta say, Gail, how are those 2 physical Broly's doing on this mission for you?
Yeah, it's they're fantastic, bro. No, but I actually I wanna talk about those missions. I'm just surprised they went for. I mean, I can see. I obviously we know why they went for special pose and artificial life form, but they could have been
Yeah.
a bit nicer and done like movie heroes instead of special pose. You know,
Right.
it would have been that would have
Yeah.
been so much more easier for so many more players. And I think they could have kept the artificial life forms category one as a bit of a extra, you know, like okay, this is a real challenge if you want to do this one. And I mean, anyways, the no item run is a challenge, especially with him locking
Yeah.
units and stuff, right? Like that, right? So, anyways, it's a problem there. But at least you know the movie heroes one and then clearing it within 8 turns. That would have been the easy ones. Let the hard ones be the hard ones.
Mhm.
But we have 3 hard
Yeah.
ones and then one obviously not difficult, but obviously can be a little bit challenging if you get really bad rotations or something, right? So that's just my take on it. But yeah, it's impossible without. Well, it is not impossible because Minato
Yeah.
did it, but you would need very specific units. Like I tried doing it with the Ginyu Force, but of course Global doesn't have Tech Ginyu,
Yeah.
the Tech Ginyu
Yeah.
LR, so we're suffering anyway still. But it's still a challenge because Ginyu doesn't get any time to build up because you literally just demolish it in
Yep.
one turn.
One shot.
Yeah, so
yep.
Ginyu
If
doesn't
he
have any
gets a
time.
crit,
Yeah.
it's a one shot.
And then
yeah.
if you don't dodge with like one of the weaker units or something, you're screwed again. So it's just
Yeah.
like it's practically impossible without the Gamma 1 and 2s. It's not impossible, but practically impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you brought up a good point when you said how they could have made it a little bit easier. It's like, you know, I can be frustrated because it's like, oh look, you don't pull the gammas, like they're trying to incentivize you to summon for the gammas. It's like, yeah, no
Yeah.
kidding. That's what people are gonna say, right?
Yeah, but
But at the same time, it's like throw us a bone here, right? Like
yep.
how many special pose options are there really? Like
Yeah.
forcing me to run a Ginyu Force team with a 55% Ginyu,
Mhm.
who by the way is a type disadvantage against Cell.
Yeah.
He like unless you have him with dupes and you're getting like that double support from the burst and
Yeah.
Jace or the Burger and Jace and the free to play Ginyu, it's just he can't, like I'm taking 300k 400k per normal, so it's like I don't know what do you want me to do
No,
here?
but the funny thing,
Like,
the funny thing is, if you look for both artificial life forms and the Ginyu Force, the 2 alternate leaders are both AGL. They're
Yeah.
both type
Mhm.
disadvantaged, so you're screwed either way. It's just a very bad scenario to be in. And then if you look at the older options, I mean, let's say you take Imperfect Cell, and then what? You're gonna take Ent Go Tanks into the event? I don't think so. I don't think that's the plan there, buddy. But yeah, it's just a bit. You're stuck in a very hard place as a result of that.
You guys are forgetting the special pose hidden gem, Easy A Physical Thouser, who absolutely dominates, right? That's what everyone's supposed to use. That forgot about that Easy A Physical Thouser. He's
I
you know, I
forgot him when he
tweeted.
launched.
I
be
tweeted
honest.
he's the GOAT for this event. Everyone should be able to no turn this thing or no item it, no problem.
Yeah, and then I
Yeah.
forgot about him when he easy, to be honest. Let's be real.
I think one
I
way
saw,
I was gonna say one way they could have made this easier is because I believe the boost only affects your damage. I think it should affect your defense
Yeah.
more. You should be able to defend better if you're boosted, but that's just me.
Well,
There's
to be fair, okay, I can't spoil the movie. Never mind. I shouldn't say anything. I'll just shut up.
There's there's a free to play unit that somebody on the JP side of things used. I can't forget who it is. Let me see if I can find it while you guys are talking. But
Was it for special pose?
it was one of the category missions. That it was like a Japanese player he used.
I
it.
could
gotta
I
find
could
it.
low key see maybe Int Rosie, but you would have to have like
No.
Rosie and Ribrianne
Gross.
because they stack defense, Rosie and Ribrianne.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's a good option actually. But
I don't know if they could actually get through though, because once again, if you're running gammas, you're going through way too quick. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is what it is. So anyways, I'll let you look that up, Bill. But yeah, any
Yeah.
other comments on the Cell Max stuff?
No, I think it's pretty cool though. Generally,
I got it.
Okay, you got it.
The free to play Para brothers.
Oh, Par Brothers. I forgot what they do.
So this guy, so the team that he used in specific, his @ is like wonky. It's like K4Q87XU something. It's just a mess, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah, the usual.
he used int go tanks. He's got int free to play Ginyu, physical free to play Ginyu, Gamma 1, Tech Ginyu, Para brothers, and then a Gamma 2 friend.
I mean,
So-
interesting. Okay.
I don't even know what the Para brothers do to the point where they
yeah,
can be
I'm
used in
gonna
Cell
look them
Max.
up.
Like,
Oh, yeah, I'm checking what they do right now. 1 second, because even I'm a little bit baffled. They okay,
Yeah.
so they greatly raise defense for 3 turns. They give allies 25% attack and defense. They get an additional 120% defense, and all allies key +2 and 25% when they are in the third attack. When they're the third character to obtain key spheres. That's
So
it.
what happens with Cell Max locks them in slot 1? Wah, wah.
They just
Yeah,
got really lucky.
I mean, at that point,
Yeah.
you got to use a senzu beam. I mean,
I-
think there's
yeah.
True.
run,
He
yeah.
did use Senzu beams. Yeah, he did use
Okay, so
yeah.
they've separated the runs then, basically. So yeah,
And I bet he just gave him like max dodge and he like dodged an attack or something like really
it's
luckily.
possible there. It's
Yeah.
possible there.
Yeah. Because technically any unit can make it through if you give them like enough dodge and you just get super lucky, right? Like
Yep.
you could get physical Raditz through, you know? Like
yeah, but you're
not impossible.
so the no item run took me like 50 tries.
okay.
Oh god,
and-
yeah.
If you're trying to do it like to get the RNG in your favor that hard, you're probably gonna need a psych evaluation by the time you're done. You know, it's like it's not. I just got to the point with the Ginyu Force where I'm like, it's just 55% Ginyu is not gonna cut it. I'm like, I'm just gonna cut ties and we'll come back to this later. It's
Yeah.
5 stones, right?
Yep.
Yeah, the one thing about it too is even though the missions are quite hard,
Mhm.
that there's no time limit on the missions, right? So they're gonna be there. People can
I-
take their time to
Mhm.
get it done.
I think more than the time limit, what I really like is that the Cell Max event doesn't have an limited amount
Attempt
of rounds.
restriction, yeah.
Thank God for that. Please, Dokkan,
There's-
what are you doing with the red zone? I still don't understand the point of the limited tries in red zone or the God event. It's just
Yeah, why have it at
unnecessary.
all? Especially when the events are
okay.
so hard.
I actually understand it because they want to make sure that you're not finishing it off within one day through brute force, but that's just stupid because it's just like, bro, you're just limiting it for no reason. Quite honestly speaking, that's not a valid reason. People will brute force it if they really want to.
I want to play devil's advocate here.
Go
I
for it.
kind of like the daily attempts on the red zone because with Cell Max, when I'm doing 70 attempts in a day, my mind starts to break.
Yeah, but that's
And,
more so on you. That
that's-
you have no
That
was your choice to do
70 attempts, yeah.
restraint. That's on you, brother. I don't know how to tell you, but that's on you.
Yeah, of course it's on me, but that's what I'm saying. Like for someone that's crazy like me, it's like it stops me. After 3 fails, it's like okay, I'll do it tomorrow. But with Cell Max, it's like I'm going until I get this no item run.
Right.
It's like it's
that's
just,
fair.
I was literally
That's fair. That's fair.
All right. Well, next up, let's talk about Super Battle Road. Kind of a small segment here, but on global, we got Universe 6 Extreme Super Battle Road. So let's start with that. So, Gail, did you take on the Super Battle Road? And if so, how did it go?
There's been multiple ones. Which one are we talking about again?
This is
Sorry.
Universe. This
6.
is Universe 6 Extreme Super
Okay.
Battle Road.
I actually had a bit of a struggle with this one, surprisingly. I don't know how in my 3 years or 4 years since they've been released, I still don't have a kill in Caulifla. So I kind of struggled a little bit in that regards, and I had to get a little lucky with tech hits. What is it? A medium chance to stun all enemies, or it's a chance? I don't remember.
I
which
think
one
it's
it is.
25 or 30%. And if the whole
Medium
rotation
chance,
is
okay.
U6, yeah, U6, which obviously you're going to be all U6 here.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I had to get a little bit lucky with that, but once I did, it was pretty smooth sailing. I think if you can get those tech hit, all stuns, you're good to go because the rest of the team, it just needs to survive a little bit. I mean, you obviously have Tech Khalifa and STR Kill who are going to be fantastic pairings, but it's just the other units on the team. If you don't have, say, Tech Kill and Khalifa or AGL Kill and Khalifa, you might be running into a little bit of issues, but otherwise it's pretty smooth sailing.
Yeah, it's not too bad. It's really RNG with Tech Hit. And then also Tech Hit has 2 different stun procs in his passive. One I think is a 1-turn stun and one is a 2-turn stun on attack. Because I think he gets one on a super attack and then one just when he attacks.
Mhm.
And then we also have the AoE stun, which is very good. So anytime he AoE stuns, that's literally free ghost ushers for you
Yep.
each time. The thing that people need to watch out for with Tech Khalifa is that the last phase is Beerus and Whis, who are not Universal Survival Saga. So she's not guaranteed dodging, but as long as you build the team right, her natural dodge passive builds up to basically 100% anyways. But the mistake I made was I also brought her SSR, who does not build up as fast.
Oh, no.
So
Yeah,
she
that's
got
right.
one shot against Beerus. But yeah, and then I also had a really unlucky run where it was like Tech Hit was going up against one unit. It's like, all right, I just need to stun. And then, of course, neither of the stun procs hit. And then he got supered out of there. So,
Yeah.
but it wasn't that bad. These Extreme Super Battle Roads, they're just glass cannons, right? Like you use items at the right time. They die pretty quick. They go down quick. You just have to get them out of there. So I didn't find it too hard at all.
Yep, agreed.
And then Vilify for you, they got a Super Battle Road for Giant 8 Power. Did you take that on and how did that go?
1 turn or 1 attempt 5-minute no item run.
Pretty easy.
LR Super Saiyan 4s, they go in, they do their thing, you win. But you cats talking about multiple runs for Universe 6, huh? I thought you were better than that.
Yeah,
Well,
you know how it is.
listen.
Sometimes something. Well, what it is my first couple of runs. I was trying to no item run, and I was taking small risk, and I got the worst RNG each time I took a small
No,
risk.
you know what it is more so than that. STR Kefla is ass, bro. She is the worst thing I've
Oh,
seen.
I didn't
in
run
my
her at
life,
all.
bro.
I didn't run
had
her
to
at
use
all.
her because she was my only other option. She was bad.
This is where
bro.
my JP elitism kicked in.
She is horrible.
With the friend system now, we can just get tech hit whenever we want. So I went out for because when it came back out on global, I'm like, let me redo a video for this, and I went and did an attempt, and it's like literally like, oh, there's just a 100% hit sitting right there. I'm like, oh, okay.
So I'm still a little unclear on what they did on the JP friend system. So is it literally like you can pretty much get any lead, or is it just a lot easier to get leads than it was?
From what I can tell, it seems like there's just like dev accounts that have that are just like for niche leads, right?
That's
okay.
really
Like
good.
if you look at the friends list, you know how I don't know how you sort your friends list, right? But like when you choose a friend support, I have it sorted by dupes, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And you know how the special friend doesn't have the little icons, right?
Right.
That's how it looks. It just says 100% and it doesn't have icons. So it's like, say you're looking for for a really good example is low class warrior missions are coming for the legendary.
So you can find
right?
AGL Bardocks like no problem.
AGL Bardock. I just found like for each one, I was able to just go in and find an AGL Bardock and do my recordings for them. Right.
No,
it was just real
good,
simple.
actually,
And are those dev accounts repeatable, or if you use them up, do they go away?
They're just repeatable. It's
okay,
weird.
I'll take it then.
So
yeah.
I don't know if it was in there's a flaw in it because I remember Truth in specific was like he was trying to he couldn't get physical radits or something like that.
Yep.
And what broke it is the refresh button, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know. So it's like you say you're running like a Vegeta family team, and then it just you hit refresh and it does like a pure Saiyans lead, and it's not like it's not Trunks and Vegeta. It's like Goku for some reason. It's like well, why would I want to run him, right?
Yeah.
But if you want to take the time to hit go into the filter and find it, you can find like a good example is like an Android 13, a Tech Exchange Boo, like units that people just don't run anymore. You can find now with these dev accounts.
Okay.
So I'm a big fan of how they did that, but of course, like with everything, it seems like in this game there always has to be a flaw, right?
Right.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, at least it's better than before. I mean, the main. I mean, if they're never, because I think this is the sign of them not wanting to change it too drastically. Are once of a mirror lead or even like a sort of like per category friend lead. It doesn't seem like they're interested in it because if they're willing to do this, go to this extent to where there's dev kind of dev based friends, it just seems like they're gonna call it like, okay, this is what you're getting. Deal with it now. That's it. We don't want to hear about friend system anymore, bro. Shut up. Just shut up.
Oh, you caught yourself.
Yeah, I caught myself, bro.
We're a PG product, brother. Come on now.
PG-13, bro. It's been a while, bro. That's what I'm saying.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on. Next, we're going to have a couple of kind of fun topics here. So we're going to do just some kind of opinion type topics here and kind of get our thoughts on some things in the community. So the first question is going to be, who is our most overrated unit in Dokkan? Who do we think is the most overrated, and who do we think is the most underrated unit? So, Gail, we'll start with you. What do you think is your most overrated and your most underrated unit?
Don't steal my thunder. Don't do it.
No. I think I'll stick with what you suggested to me, and I kind of remembered of as well because of that. Is how much I've slandered this man in the last 3 or 4 years. Is both the UIs, STR UI and AGL UI, both of them get a shining spot in my overrated list because their 70% dodge is more like 25% dodge. Let's be real. You're gonna, when you want it the most, he's missing. He misses every single freaking time, bro. I don't understand this man, bro. It's just these guys are so overrated. And the thing is, they also, of course, nowadays, obviously, they're allowed more difficult content to, not disabled to dodge. Cellmax is an example, right? As well as, like, I think Metal Cooler Core, if I'm not mistaken, he also doesn't disable dodge, which is good. But again, it's just such an RNG hit where okay, so, all right, you go in, 70% chance procs once, twice. Okay, the third time, you get hit, you're getting hit. You're not coming back from it. You're getting out of the stage, come back tomorrow, basically, if you're on red zone kind of thing. So for me, I think it's those two. Those two are the biggest frauds I've seen in my entire life, bro.
You just don't get it, Gail. That's the problem.
No, I get it. I've seen it multiple times. I got it multiple times, and I got kicked out and told to come tomorrow, basically. Trust me.
He's like STR Ultimate Gohan, right? If you make fun of him, he's not going to guard for you. So you have to talk about how good he is, and he'll dodge for you.
I have to caress him every single day. Make sure he's happy.
Exactly. You have to feed him, right? He's like a puppy. And you also, if you know, maybe you in the build-up phases you get hit twice or get hit 3 times, and then you get hit with that big normal or big super, and then you revive and get your HP back. Come on now.
Yeah, but by the time he gets a 3rd hit on, say, Cell Max, he's not even existing by the 1st hit, to be quite honest. Let's be real.
Listen, he's gonna take the hits in the AoE phase. Don't worry about it. He'll be ready to go.
And then, Gail, what do you got for an underrated unit?
Underrated. I feel like people have been underrating these couple of units. I feel like, but I feel like a lot of people have underrated. In recent times, I would say Super Saiyan Goku and Gohan. Man, I still feel like people just don't look at them anymore, and I feel like they're still such a nice unit to run. So much fun, and just generally, if you can get them going, they can get going. And again, it's the same thought process with nowadays. You look at some stages like, for example, Cell Max or Metal Cooler Core. You can dodge, so just throw Goku and Gohan in slot 2, and you're good to go, baby. And with the additions of units like Carnival Goku and stuff, you have that slot 1 unit for them, right? So to me, I think that's great, in all honesty. So I think they're a unit that I feel like just goes under the radar for a lot of people nowadays.
Sure. Vilify, most overrated, most underrated units.
I was kind of scared Gil was going to steal my overrated pick. I was like, when you made him go first, I'm like, he's going to steal my thunder. But, I know people aren't going to like to hear this, but sometimes you got to hear the truth and it hurts. The most overrated unit in the game to me at the moment, at least on base of what community puts it as, because they like to shelve him as the number 1 unit, it has to be the LR Cooler for me, the SDR LR Cooler. His peak is absolutely incredible. You know, we're talking 5 supers, super good amount of damage, 2 million defense, but you're getting that 5 super turn how many times out of 10? Probably less than 1.
Yeah.
And when you're looking at, this is one of those units that, to me, what really makes a good unit great is when you don't need dupes for them to really maximize effectiveness, right? You look at a unit like AGLUY, who Gale calls the most overrated unit, at 55%, you're still going to be able to get like the majority of the usage out of him just with his dodging. And if you put an additional equip on him, he could do triple super still, right?
Yeah.
And with LR Cooler, it's like if you have him at 55%, most of the time he's doing 2 supers, and he just looks so fraudulent to me, right? With someone like Carnival Goku, I like the consistency of his ability to stack his guard, the easy revive condition where you go into a turn with low HP, he gets you hit, he revives, then he has his guard forever. I personally just don't like the fact that people put this LR Cooler at number 1. It seems like a lot of people put him at number 1 when they're evaluating him at his peak, when that peak is just so rare to get. I obviously he's incredible, and 99% of the content in the game he shreds, but this idea that he's the best unit in the game to me is just, I think, is him being overrated.
And underrated? I mean,
yeah, who's underrated?
And underrated? And my underrated pick, I have to say, is Saiyan Day 2021, Int Broly. I'm a huge fan of how that unit is designed.
He's good.
I ain't gonna lie, I thought you were about to say Bardock, and I was about to say
AGL, wait, which Bardock? AGL Bardock?
AGL Bardock. I thought you were gonna say Saiyan Day 2020.
No. We got Wicked Bloodline Red Zone. He's so good now. There's Wicked Bloodline to fight against. Come on now.
If he easy A's with this tech Bardock celebration, watch out. We're talking 6 million attack stats, guaranteed crits. I mean, come on, bro. We got something going.
Hey man, he's got additionals as well. Remember that, bro.
They'll give him super effective against all types too for some reason.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, Int Broly, I just like how he has the damage reduction against Saiyans, which still, like, right now, we're kind of in that phase where it's very movie boss oriented. So we're looking at artificial life forms, we're looking at cool Wicked Bloodline, we're looking at other stuff. But eventually that tide is going to turn where we start seeing more Goku related bosses and Vegeta related bosses and Gohan stuff. Especially, I mean, we're going to come up on the Gohan Beast stuff, and who knows, maybe he's tech for some reason, right?
Yeah.
And there's a boss that we fight that's tech. And all of a sudden, this Int Broly can stack and has damage reduction, and he can really look good against the unit like this Beast Gohan boss. Because it's only a matter of time before we start getting difficult content related to movie heroes or Saiyans again. Like, it's not always going to be this run where it's Brolys and Omegas and stuff like that. Like, this is just temporary, right?
Yep,
and we talk about the bar for difficult content coming in before, like, the 7-year anniversary. We're talking Legendary Vegeta event, we're talking Goku event, GT Goku event. And maybe at one point we get a Gohan event or something like that for the superhero campaign. Who knows? And I think Int Broly, he just has the ability to age well. And, you know, before you know it, we're almost 2 years into his life cycle. So it's like maybe they drop a surprise Easy A for him or something like that. Who knows?
For sure. All right. Well, my most overrated unit, I'm going to say, is AGL Golden Frieza. You know, he's got 90% damage reduction, and people are all about it. They love it. They love it. These jokers on Twitter trying to say AGL Golden Frieza is better than Tech God Goku. I'm not happy about that myself, but AGL Golden Frieza, sure, 90% damage reduction, fantastic, right? But if you're under 40%, and let's be honest, it's very easy to get under 40%. This guy shows up on rotation and you are a dead duck. He gets you killed just as much as he can get you saved. And maybe I've just had really bad luck with him, but every time I try using this guy, he shows up on rotation when I'm under 40% and I'm just dead from normals. He's taken 300 plus K normals in almost all these hard fights. And I think people overrate him a little bit. And I like
AGL Golden Frieza.
No, he's talking about the old one. I thought he was talking about the LR. I thought he was talking about the LR. I was like,
no.
This
is the banner unit, or I think, was he a banner unit? Yeah, just a banner unit. AGL Golden Frieza. Yeah, just the literal 90% damage reduction. No, bro, you know what? Global's not getting the LR for like 2 more years. So like, I don't know what this guy does. We don't know what he does. No, sorry, just the banner unit Golden Frieza. And these jokers on Twitter trying to say that he's better than God Goku. Sure, they say, you know, well, you can only use God Goku in certain situations. Well, I'm sorry, but pure Saiyans and movie bosses is a lot of the game. And when you use them, like he's gonna guard like all the time. He's gonna defend like ridiculous all the time, right? AGL Golden Frieza, sure, you can use him in any fight, but he can get you killed in any fight when you're under 40%. So yeah, AGL Golden Frieza, the normal one. Yeah, see, as Global, I almost forget that there's an LR AGL Golden Frieza, right? But yeah, we're not getting this guy for like an eternity. We don't know when this guy's coming. What a joke. So actually, I'll say LR AGL's also overrated because he doesn't exist.
Oh my god.
He's overrated because he doesn't exist, the LR. That's right. Okay. My most underrated unit, Gale stole my thunder because I was going to say Goku Gohan. I was going to say Goku Gohan. But I'll lean off of Vilify because in the same vein that Int Broly, I think, is a little underrated, I think Int Namek Goku fits in that same pod. Int unit, stacking defense. He's someone that I think has actually gotten a little bit better over time with the difficult content. So I'll say Int Namek Goku for there. So I'll go to a backup.
Max gave him a resurrection.
It did. It did.
Because we can't forget about like just how good he is in quest mode.
Oh, so good in quest mode.
Unbelievable.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go to our last topic of the day. Has to do with super attack animations. So we want to know, what is your favorite overall animation? This could be an intro, active skill, revival, any of that. And then what do you think is the most disappointing animation in the game? So Vilify, we'll start with you this time. Favorite animation and most disappointing.
Yes. So this discussion comes off the heels of the top 5 super attack animations that we've been doing over on the mobile channel. If you guys want to check that out, you can go ahead and look. It's one of our more recent uploads where a lot of the crew is putting together 5 of their favorite super attack animations. I went with one. I decided to go AGL UI Goku because I'm totally not biased. His 18 key. But I'd have to say my favorite animation in the game has to be the Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta active skill.
Yep.
I think the kind of like the phasing between the two into like the Big Bang Kamehameha, it's just I love the way they did that and it was composed and all that. I remember because we were doing a stream on the 5-9 Twitch, right, where we were reacting to it, and that was like that and the 18 key from the LR Super Saiyan 4s with the Dragon Fist. That stuff got me the most excited, right?
Yeah.
I would have to say for sure that's got to be my favorite animation right now.
All right, what do you think is the most disappointing one?
Oh, that's a good one.
Or I can come back to you.
Yeah, how about we go over our favorite and then we'll go over the
disappointing.
Okay,
all right. All right, we'll do all our favorite ones first and then we'll cycle back around. So, Gal, what's your favorite animation in the game?
I think I have to agree with Vilify. The Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta active skill is probably by and far my favorite one, but a big shout out to the unit is but the 5-year Gogeta, his active skill is still very good, right? I mean, they will get an easier. Come on, we know that they're probably getting an easier during the anniversary. Most likely, we don't know yet. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But their active skill is still phenomenal. Gogeta's, that is. So excellent animation. But in terms of the worst animation, I have to give a big shout outs to the base Kamehameha, of course, the OG. I mean, should I disrespect it like that? No, I can't. I'll have to also think about it. But no, I can't disrespect the OG, like the Kamehameha that every character used, literally. So I'll have to also think about it, to be quite honest. I don't know.
All right, well, Gail, I need to start going before you because you stole my thunder like twice on that one. Literally, we think way too much alike. So yeah, my favorite overall is the Year 5 Gogeta. I love the Broly movie animations, and I love his regular super attack and his active skill. I still think they are top tier in the game, and it's because that Broly movie has those ridiculous animations in it. So, and then my most disappointing, I have my notes here, okay, like on a document. Most disappointing animation, every generic Kamehameha is what I wrote down. And here's where this stems from. Do you guys remember that old banner unit STR Goku that got a really late awakening during last year's Worldwide? And when they awakened him, they gave him a super hype Kamehameha. I think it's like in Namek Goku's TUR Kamehameha animation. Yeah. I think they just need to give that to every generic Kamehameha Goku in the game. Like, they just need to do that. So, yeah, Gal, I don't know how you did it, but you stole my thunder twice.
3 times, technically.
Twice just on this one, and then once on the last one, yeah. Vilify, did you have a disappointing animation yet? I'm disappointed in Gale, actually. That's what I'm going to say. I'm disappointed in Gale right now.
Yeah, you going the route of every Kamehameha ever. Let's go ahead and talk about the injustice that the father-son Kamehameha got of LR Gohan and his 18P pre-revamp. Where they just they went on a green screen, they took a Gohan on a popsicle stick, and they just went whoop, whoop, whoop,
Yeah. I give them a little bit more credit. They at least used the pogo stick, but whatever.
A pogo stick. Honestly, I think if they used the pogo stick, that would be impressive.
Yeah.
If that was like their animators team where they had some guy that never know how to use a pogo stick in like 3 hours to figure it out.
Right.
Yeah, but no, I'd say if we just want to talk about like a moment that deserved like real justice, I guess it was that one. And even the updated version, like, it's good, but you never get to see it. So it's almost like AGL LR Gohan's Super Saiyan 2 animation is so disappointing because you can't see it.
Right. For sure. Yeah, it's like AGL Golden Frieza doesn't exist, right?
That's allegedly.
Right. All right. Well, do you guys have anything else you want to say before we end our show for today?
Nope. I'm good.
Oh. All right. Well, that is gonna do it.
Gale's a naughty boy. That's all I'll say.
Yeah.
Just once across the whole thing. All right.
Yeah, that's right. All right, well, that's going to do it for our show today. This has been episode 101 of the Dokkan Battle Podcast. I would like to thank our guests today, Gal, Riot, and Vilify. And also thanks for Vilify's work behind the scenes with all the background stuff. My name is Joe Wags. It has been an absolute honor hosting for you all today. Thanks, everyone, for listening, and we'll catch you all on the next one.